Brought to you by Friends Council and Agnes. Trustee U, your online governance program for trustees.
Training in governance feels theoretical when you read books about it, and you sometimes have training about it. And so it's very easy to define in distinctive ways. Here's the role of the management team, your head and his or her management team, versus a very bright red line. Here's the role of the board. And so when we do Trusteeship 101, we want to clarify what that bright red line is, and we want to give the job descriptions so it's easy to see the distinctions. And it usually turns out to be something very simple but profoundly important, which is the board delegates to the head and his or her team all operational matters. And that includes the very sticky, troubling things like enrollment management. It includes disciplinary issues and rules and enforcement with students. It includes hiring and firing and evaluating of faculty. And then, of course, the board's work across that red line, not managerial, not operational, is strategic. How do we set the conditions so that the school, and create the conditions so that the school as an enterprise prospers? How do we address challenges that could derail the operation? And how do we think forward? So, in short, day-to-day is the work of the head and his or her team. The future is the work of the board. By the way, the root of the word to govern means to steer. Very important. So that distinction is clear. But when you get to something like enrollment management, and even some of these other issues that are, 99% of them are clearly administrative and operational, sometimes circumstances arise where, there's a strategic element to them. So that's the gray zone. The rule of thumb here is that if something rises to the status of having an impact on the enrollment of the school or the reputation which actually drives the enrollment of the school, all of a sudden we're in a zone between management and governance. And so the wise head and board chair are the ones who filter the presenting issues and decide, is this yours? Is this mine? And what's in between that we have some shared responsibility for. And so the setting of the agenda, both of the management team and of the board, a very, very important process that needs to be thoughtfully addressed. So when we have this notion of separate roles for the head, management team, and the board, sometimes schools think that that wall is inviolable and always there's no crossing over it. Well, there is crossing over it. In many instances. For example, most school heads are members of their boards. We do all kinds of research study. We have a study on governance on our website that gives data about how boards constitute themselves and roles that various players play. So most heads are members of their board because they are key participants in the conversations that boards must have that are strategic. Also, heads should be ex officio, Latin for by virtue of their office, members of every committee. Not that they'd attend every committee, but they would be informed and attend those meetings that they and the committee chair think are essential for the head to be there. One of those committees, by the way, is the governance and the nominating committee. And it's absolutely critical for a board to hear and listen to head feedback on potential nominees. Because you may have some kind of networked relationship. You're a trustee, you're on the nominating committee or the governance committee. You might have some networked relationship with a potential trustee who's also, let's say, a current parent. But you have no idea how that person in his or her current parent role interacts with the school. That could be the single most toxic parent in the school and you would not know it. On the other hand, you might be missing somebody that you've profiled in terms of what the job requires for the next generation of trustees, right? You might be missing some people that the head knows from as parents, past parents, alumni who could be key contributors to the expertise that you're seeking. So In terms of roles, there's got to be some blending of roles. And it goes both ways. The board actually has nothing to do with the hiring of 99% of staff and faculty. That's an operational issue. On the other hand, there are two roles that intersect with the board on a routine basis. That's the development director, fundraising, chief fundraising leader on the school side, and of course the CFO, the business manager, because so much of the fiduciary work and strategic work for the board is in finance and giving. So you would want as head to take responsibility for those hires and screenings, but when you come down to the finalist stage, it would be a very good idea for some small group, one or two trustees from the finance committee, to be part of the interviewing of your potential business manager, business officer, CFO, and some members of the development committee, advancement committee, to be part of the interviewing for the three finalists for your advancement job.